Hello, and welcome back to my channel. This is your girl, Lisa Shanette, the Melanated Minimalist. So if you're on my channel, you're evidently wanting to live a more simple life where you can do what you want, be who you want to be, and just chill, right? Or you're just a person just say, who is this girl? Well, anyway, I wanted to share with you guys that I've been studying, or actually been watching a great number of women who are leaving to go to another country. That's right. The melanated population of women who are leaving the United States and deciding to reside in a whole another country. But what I've really been noticing lately is not just the average woman doing this, because I would think you have to have a different mindset and definitely built differently. But a lot of the women don't have attachments. They don't have a husband. They don't have any children. And they may have parents, definitely have education, definitely are pretty well versed as far as intellect. And there's the thing. Why are they leaving this country, the United States, to decide to live in another country? To live a more minimalist, I would say, lifestyle. And what I think and what I've connected and I've heard someone say, when you don't have a family sense of where you have the husband and you have the children and you have the home and you have the career, when you are like tied into that type of lifestyle, right? I know for me, when I was married, it was a different lifestyle than the one I lead now. I had the protection of my husband. I had someone I could come home to speak with about my day. I had opportunities where my children, my husband would take our children, and go off and have fun with them or do things with them, as well as the moments when I wanted to have a vacation by myself. I could go to the beach and my husband had the children. Okay? Now, who I am, fast forward after the divorce, raising the children, co-parenting, and where we are now with grown children, and thank God, a new or a grandson, right? Not new meaning back in 2016, but new to being grandparents. We live a different lifestyle. We don't have to have little ones running around. We don't have to worry about daycare bills and all those. So at where we are now, my husband is now remarried. We were considered empty nesters, okay? And we didn't have that type of responsibility any longer. And what I'm finding that as I listen to a lot of these women, I know Sheeta's on the loose. There's a new lady. I don't know if she's new, but I've heard of her. She's called The Upgrade. I think she's a single mother. The guy I've been following a couple of times, you've heard me talk about, Timothy Ward. That's the male side of it. And there's a few others. One young lady I always, Antoinette, she is the van lifer. She travels all over the country. She's actually going to be planning a trip soon. But Antoinette is a van lifer. She's 31, meaning that she has no children. She's not married. She lives in a van. She has other friends, relationships where they live in a van. I think there's a couple that she hangs with. They are a couple that live in a van. And they travel and they do caravans to Mexico and all that. But I noticed the major thing is they don't have children. They're not with a spouse. And they don't have that tie. So they can easily maneuver in and out of the country. They could live abroad. The only thing that I think will hold them back, maybe if they have aging parents or parents in general. I think Antoinette's mom was very worried when she decided to take on the van life, go from a traditional lifestyle. I think she was a former nurse or nursing program or nursing school. I don't know how it went, but I know now she an independent vlogger, YouTuber. She does a lot of other things as far as a side hustle, but I think they all boil down to being a influencer in the YouTube community is a van lifer. Very unpopular among the melanated women during the time she decided to do this. As being a melanated minimalist like me, if you were to really go back through my life, and I've spoken about minimalism for years, one of the books that really got me started was Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. I got that book and then began to read different chapters about, living modestly, not having having a phone, having on one phone. At that time, we didn't have cell phones. About living where you work. Like if you live somewhere, you shouldn't have to drive more than 10 minutes away. I actually was driving when I was working as a case manager in the school system. I was driving at one point 20, 30 minutes because the traffic is like 45. To the point when I read that book, I was like, you know what? I'm getting ready to live where I work. So I literally got my apartment in the back of where my school was. I would drive, take like 2 minutes. I could walk, but I chose to drive because I ran errands after school. But literally so simple. Then I remember letting go of my car, deciding to ride public transportation. We had light rails in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I was residing. And I just started thinking, why not do something different? I think you guys heard me talk about in my video about living differently. And remember now, I'm in a different stage now. My children are grown. I have one grandson whom I love dearly, but he's not my child. He's my daughter's child. So the responsibility of him is not rest upon me. Okay, my youngest daughter lives on her own in a relationship, everything. Both of my children are very independent, and not in the sense of they don't need anyone, but they've established themselves where they can run among the wolves. If there's something were to happen, they know how to take care of themselves. So for me to live in another country, besides my mother aging and my sister and all my family here, it wouldn't be a problem for me. But what I've seen is that they don't understand, at least I think, maybe I'm wrong, is that to really live freely, you got to be a business owner. You got to own some form of a business where you can make great amount of money, and it could be different side things you do to accumulate a certain amount of money per month, the lifestyle you want. Not the lifestyle that's handed to you, not the lifestyle that your job gives you because you only make a certain amount, not the food you have to eat because you don't have enough money to go to World Whole Foods versus Winn-Dixie. I would choose Publix. Some of those things that you think about, why do I shop the way I shop, or where do I live the way I live, or drive the car I drive? One thing I've learned is, being a former homeowner and now live in an apartment, I'm actually house hacking with my daughter, and I'll tell you more about house hacking on my next episode. But literally, house hacking with my daughter has opened up my eyes to how many people are living really bad because they can't seem to unite with someone, whether it be a significant other, a husband, or a wife, and that what that does for you in your lifestyle. Okay, let me put it this way. I can only share that I would like to get married again in the near future. And what I share with someone who just admires me a lot, is a male friend. He said that he loved the way I hold things. I hold him that as a value. Another thing I share with him is that 3 things marriage provides is emotional support, financial support, and companionship. And for me, even spiritual walk, praying together, holding hands together. When someone's not feeling well, rubbing their back. If you don't have those things in your life, doesn't mean the end all, because true to say, there are people who are going to die alone. But if you can manifest, pray, put yourself in situations or around arenas where you are meeting new people, or if you're desiring to be married again and you have not found that spouse, or that spouse has found you, for the women, I am traditional, that you're saying to yourself, what will I do to change? Do I have to make a mass exodus out of this country to find the new life of living carelessly? Do I want to live alone in a country where I could barely speak the language? Oh yeah, I can learn it, but they wouldn't have the same customs as me. They wouldn't have the same dialect as me. They wouldn't have the same mindset as me. Certain countries that these people have exited or have made a mass exodus to are countries that it's a different language, different culture. And the chance of finding true love, I can't say you won't, because I never experienced it as far as going to another country. But I know that the chances are going to be lowered unless you decide to go and find someone outside your culture, right? Which is fine. I'm saying all this to say the tie-in, the buy-in, the reason why so many have left or are leaving or planning to leave, and they may not agree, becoming expats because they don't see the buy-in anymore. They don't see why they should be married, or maybe they have been married and wasn't a successful marriage, or they never had that right companion in their life to give them that, encouragement and the butterfly feelings. I don't know. All I know is that when I went to study the different people, they're wired differently. Timothy Ward is definitely wired differently. No disrespect on Timothy because I think he's amazing. Never been married, no children, pretty much lives on the go, and that's the life he likes. And then she is on the loose. I'm learning more and more about her. I think she's a former attorney, and she made a decision, hey, I'm going to live somewhere else, and she moved away. Now, she does a lot on YouTube, and probably will become even more influential on YouTube as people are looking for a better life, I guess, or a more simplified life. So she's one. Another girl, Stephanie Perry, who helped me in the YouTube world to just say, just do it. She's living right now as a house sitter in Carousel, I think, and looking for that right mate. I mean, she even went down to the point where she had a beautiful dress on one day, and everybody was like, where are you going? She said, I'm going to Carousel. I'm going on a boat. I'm going to, mingle. I think this is where I want to be. Now, she's not married. She's not having any children. When she comes back to the U.S., she lives with her parents. She's over 40. Okay? Now, am I saying anything against any of these women? No. What I'm saying is, look at the look at the traits. Okay? Even while I've been out here single, I never ever said I never want to be married. I never ever said I didn't want to have a companion or a male mate. I've always loved the life of coming home or fixing dinner or hanging out. And right after my divorce, I was like, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm just not doing it. I remember dating a guy. He pretty much let me do whatever in the sense of, I said, well, we're going to have, shakes. And I think I was selling Shakeology or some type of shake I was selling. I'm always selling something, right? In MLM industry. And he pretty much went along with it because he really wasn't the man for me. He was like the guy who was like, I would say a leech, because everything was split in half. He didn't know how to be a provider or cover. And I won't go into that detail. I'll tell you about that later. But I will say this. When someone's like that, they'll take whatever. They're like, okay, well, she don't want to make but salads and beans and rice and that's it. I'll take it, because they're like a hobosexual. They kind of live wherever they can. At that time, I was going through a lot, so I allowed them to live. But a man that is seeking a wife or a helpmate or a companion for life or a life partner will have some things they want you to take care of. And some of these women who may have left and decided to go abroad maybe not want to be in that role. I'm going to not take a long time with this video. I'm just going to cut it off in a few. I've been on here for about 13 minutes. But I wanted to share that there is a pattern. There is something that people are being wired differently. Women of color, melanated women, educated, melanated women are not getting married as back in the day. They're not having children. They have a dog or a cat. I raised both of my young ladies to make decisions that are good for them, to have a mate, to not be alone, to live in a relationship in a sense of knowing that two is better than one, that one gets sick, one can help another. That's the way I raise my young ladies. I've never told them to be so independent they don't need a man or, any of that. They saw that their mom and dad did get divorced, but that we are amazing friends. We love them unconditionally, but we never taught our children to do it alone. Never. And I don't encourage anyone to do it alone. Get up, manifest, pray, vision board it. Put yourself in situations where you're going to be able to meet that someone special. I know that we may not think it can happen. We might not know it can happen. We don't know what God has for us. But I do know you got to be proactive in living the life you want. Don't let the life that's going to be handed to you based on where you work, what church you go to, if you go to the gym or you don't go to the gym, what apartments you live in, what houses you live in, what country you live in, what city, what state. And it does matter because some cities don't have a lot of, if you're looking for a melanated man, they don't have a lot of them. Or you're looking for a certain type of melanated man who may have a salary position, a retirement, all that. You may be in the wrong city. Some of the men that I've met here in the city where I'm at, it's like a lot of fluff. They talk a good game, but when it comes down to really getting to know them, it's a fluff. So it's a wall. So they have a good, I call it ear candy for you. And then when it comes down to real life, 2 plus 2 don't equal 4. 5 plus 5 don't equal 10. So I can only tell you about the city I'm in. And there's a younger vibe here now because more and more people are living here. I'm in Tampa, Florida. So it may mean that I may need to redirect myself to another city that has a good vibe of more mature people my age that are living very well. I'm going to real estate. So real estate is going to be my baby. I'll be writing books. I'll be consulting on small businesses, life coaching small business entrepreneurs. So my business will probably run from my phone and from, my laptop. I'll still be in the fitness world, working out. I'm teaching classes. I'll be going to, I'm teach cycling. I'm going to Les Mills, which is a more choreographed thing. And I'm just sharing with you guys the mass exodus of women or people who are leaving the real life, the grid life, and going on grid normally don't have the regular life. Now you may see some have to leave their homes because of financial reasons. For those who want to be van lifers, go check them out. Go look at the pattern. Nothing against them, but know that everybody can't live like that. And I, for one, and I would tell anyone, I definitely want to be growing old by myself. All right? So we'll talk about provisions of men. We'll talk about my minimalist, Afro minimalist lifestyle, how I'm living, how I just went to the thrift store and thrifted like $80 worth of stuff. And I'm talking about major nice things to wear. I'll get them steamed. Actually, I'm going to get an order steamer right now. And how I live in a good life. I'll buy a Gucci belt, like I told you, just to have that Gucci belt because I love Gucci. I don't need a whole wardrobe of Gucci, but certain signature pieces. It's a very different, unique brand. I like it. T-shirts are coming out soon, so if you want to be a part of the Melanated Minimalist movement, if you need help on becoming a minimalist as a melanated woman, hit me up, girl. And yeah, you can still attract an amazing man being a minimalist. Get cute, don't spend a lot of money, stay focused, live well, and spread the riches. Give back, tip well, love well. Peace, y'all. We'll talk soon.